We all have this picture of what rich looks like, right? Flashy cars, designer clothes, those perfect vacation photos all over our feeds. But what if I told you the real story of getting wealthy is way, way quieter? Today, we're going to dive into the subtle signs that you're actually on the path to building real wealth, even if it doesn't feel like it yet. It's kind of funny, actually. The people who are building real, sustainable wealth often don't feel rich at all. And why is that? Well, it's because they're too busy focusing on the process, the saving, the investing, all that consistent kind of boring work that actually moves the needle. They aren't waiting for some lottery ticket moment. They're building it themselves, one brick at a time. So, how can you tell? How do you know if you're really on the right path? Well, the signs are usually super subtle, almost unnoticeable. It's not about a sudden jackpot, but a series of small, intentional choices you make every day. In this explainer, we'll break down the 8 key signs that you're getting it right even when it feels like nothing special is happening at all. All right, first things first, we gotta bust the biggest myth out there, the myth of loud wealth. We've been trained to think that wealth is something you have to show off. But the quiet reality, it's usually the exact opposite. It's about skipping that impulse buy today so that your future self can have real freedom tomorrow. Okay, so the whole journey really starts with building a solid foundation. These first few signs we're going to talk about are the absolute non-negotiables. They're the habits that separate the people who build lasting wealth from those who just, well, look successful for a little while. Now, hold on. This doesn't mean you're depriving yourself or eating instant noodles every night. Not at all. It just means your spending is intentional. You've created a gap, a margin between what you earn and what you spend. And let me tell you, that little gap is where all of your financial power comes from. And this slide, oh, it shows this perfectly. Let's talk about Rich Richard and Poor Peter. They both make the exact same salary, 75 grand a year. But Richard intentionally spends less, creating a $20,000 surplus. That's not just money, you guys, that's options, that's peace of mind. Peter, on the other hand, spends a little more than he makes, and he's living in constant stress, even with a good income. That gap you see on the screen, that's everything. Most people are out there chasing the next shiny object, the hot stock tip, the get-rich-quick scheme. But if you've already shifted your mindset to play the long game, you're way ahead of the curve. You get that real wealth isn't built overnight. It's built over decades of patient, consistent, and sometimes boring investing. And here, this is what that long-term mindset looks like in the real world. This is the payoff. After 20 years of just consistently investing, Richard's wealth has grown to $350,000. Peter, who is always jumping from trend to trend, he's got barely $60,000. The key takeaway here is that discipline and patience aren't just nice virtues. They are massive wealth multipliers. Okay, sign number 3. This one might be the quietest, most underrated sign of them all. While everyone else is flexing their new purchases online, you've been quietly building something way more valuable in the background. Breathing room. You have cash set aside that you don't need to touch, an emergency fund that literally buys you time and options when life decides to get messy. So, that magic number is usually 3 to 6 months of your living expenses, just sitting there in cash. And if you've hit that, seriously, pat yourself on the back. You're already in the top 25% of Americans. This simple buffer completely changes how you navigate the world. Think about it. When Richard's car breaks down, it's annoying. Sure, it's an inconvenience. But for Peter, it's a 5-alarm fire. It's a total crisis that immediately goes onto a high-interest credit card. That buffer isn't just about money. It's about being able to handle life's emergencies with calm instead of pure terror. All right. Let's talk about sign number 4. And this is a biggie. I call it lifestyle inflation immunity. It's your ability to get a raise or make more money without automatically jacking up your spending to match it. So many people fall into this trap, and it's why they feel like they can never get ahead. Just look at how Richard and Peter handled the exact same raise. Peter immediately thinks upgrade, new apartment, new car, so his savings rate barely even budges. Richard? He keeps his life pretty much the same and funnels that extra cash straight into his investments. The result is huge. Richard builds serious wealth, while Peter just looks successful but is pretty much running in place. Okay, so we've covered the nuts and bolts, the financial habits, but building wealth, man, it's also a massive head game. These next signs are all about the crucial mindset shifts that start to happen when you're really on the right track. I think we've all been there, right? You're constantly looking over your shoulder, seeing what everyone else has. But something amazing happens as you start building real security. you have this powerful realization. Most of the wealth you see around you isn't wealth at all. It's just well-marketed debt. And that simple insight frees you from all that pressure. It lets you just focus on your own game. Let's make this super real. Peter sees his buddy's brand new $60,000 truck, and his gut reaction is, man, I need to upgrade my ride. He feels inadequate, like he's falling behind. Richard sees the same truck, and his honest-to-goodness thought is just, hey, good for him. Hope that makes him happy. He feels zero envy because he's secure in his own financial journey. Think about this. When you're stressed about money, it's all you can think about, right? Every single decision runs through that financial filter. But as you build systems, automating your savings, your investments, your bill payments, something incredible happens. Money stops being the main character in your life and just becomes background noise, managed quietly and efficiently. Now this is a really deep one. Sign number 7, you start to feel rich in time, not just money. See, most people chase money their entire lives, but the truly wealthy, they eventually start chasing time. If you find yourself valuing your time more than you value stuff, you're getting rich in a way that money alone can never, ever measure. So it really makes you ask yourself, what is the ultimate luxury? Is it the stuff, the money, the cars, or is it the time, the freedom, the experiences? Your answer to that question says a whole lot about where you are on this journey. And you can see how this plays out in real life. Rich Richard, he actually spends money to save time. He'll hire a cleaner or pay for a service that gives him back a few hours in his week. His calendar has white space. Poor Peter, on the other hand, spends his precious time just to save a few bucks. His calendar is a hamster wheel. He's always busy, but always exhausted. And here we are, the final sign, number 8. This is a total shift in your whole perspective. It's when you stop blaming external factors, the economy, your boss, whatever, and you start to take radical ownership of your financial reality. You focus only on the things you can actually control, and that is where all your power lies. So when you put all these signs together, what do you get? It's a complete redefinition of what rich even means. It's not about the loud luxury, it's about quiet control, about freedom, and about having real peace of mind. And honestly, this quote just nails it. Boring money often leads to an exciting life. All those disciplined, automatic, and yes, sometimes boring financial habits, that's the stuff that creates a life filled with options and genuine excitement. The kind of excitement you can't just buy with a credit card. So I want to leave you with this question. Forget about making some huge dramatic change overnight. What's just one small, boring choice you can make today that your future self will absolutely thank you for? What's the one thing that will quietly compound into the freedom you really want tomorrow?